What the kind of holy hell stuff are we watching? Oh, God. Hey, hi, I am Shar, and this is Real Reactions and Real Reviews by Shar, and welcome to my channel. Yes, I am here to do my review, my MUMU review, baby. Now, this one is another whole ride that I wasn't expecting. Grotesquerie. Woo! Okay, welcome to my channel. While you're here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, okay? So we're going to try to finish this, going with this ride of grotesquerie, because I love me some Niecy Nash bets. I mean, that's my boo. Got my laptop here, and if I make any mistakes, please make sure you put them down below what I said and what didn't make sense or whatever, because this, child, I'm going to have to, like, pray over my house by the time we finish this, because this has a whole lot of episodes. So I'm just on episode number 1. So I decided I was going to go ahead and drop it on Halloween night. I mean, why not? Whew. Season 1, episode 1. It opens up with some scary ass singing. Like, oh, all of that, you know, Damien stuff and all of that. Yeah, that's scary. So at the bottom, when it comes on, it shows that there's a bottom of a curtain, like the seam of a curtain. And on the corner, it starts to catch on fire. I'm like, God, somebody need to wake up and put that stuff out. So Niecy, we found out that her name is Lois. Niecy wakes up, and apparently she was dreaming, honey. She was dreaming. She had her little sleep mask on. You can look on the table. You see all these cigarettes. She drinks a lot and she smokes a lot. What's going on with her? So we see all that on the table. So apparently she's a detective, and she arrives. We arrive at her house. At a house, not her house, but a house. And she has on her Olivia Pope white, you know, the white trench coat with all of the pretty trenches and stuff, and white shirt. And honey, she comes to this house because one of the cop guys is like this is some old other hell. I ain't never seen no shit like this. She gets in there and she sees so many different things. You see this thick black liquidy shit on the floor. And then you see a half a torso laying on the damn floor. And you see guts and brains and shit all over the place. You see this real small brain. Real small. Like about the size of my fist laying on a counter. And then you see these family members at the table with like a barbed wire or something tied around their neck and around their face and around their ankles. It's a mother and 2 kids. Apparently, there's the pappy on the floor. His head is over there somewhere. But then I found out there was 5 members of the family. There was a baby. Now, as Niecy is asking questions in the house with the cops to see what's going on, you hear a timer go off. And then you see her slowly go to the stove. And then it's boiling. The pot is boiling on the stove. And then she takes the lid off the stove. We never see what's in there. But you can imagine what was in there. I'm glad it didn't show that, because I think I would have just you know. But as a matter of fact, when we got there was one of the cops that was blessing the flowers of the damn house with his throw up. So, like I said, brains all over the floor. It looks crazy. A decapitated head, water dripping from the faucet. We just don't know what's in that pot. So we see Lois smoking and driving in the rain. Like I always say, when there's raining, there's always some type of truth that's going to be exposed, or some type of shift in type of movie or show. So she almost hits this homeless man. He's in the middle of the street and says, "I know where you live. We're coming to an end. I know where you live. I know you live." You know, she blows her horn, "Get the fuck out of my way." So he gets out the way, and he's still screaming, "I know where you live," as she's driving home. So you can see her making some scrambled eggs, honey. You just need some cheese on that. I don't know what else she was putting on there. And you can hear a girl screaming from the living room, "Mama, don't forget the taquitos now. Don't forget the taquitos." So her daughter is a thicky girl. I can't think of that baby's name, but I'll say it later. Her daughter, her name is Merritt, and she's sitting there listening to this reality show, like a Jeopardy type of show, and she's naming off all the answers to the questions. She's very smart. So they sit there and talk, and baby girl had a nerve to like judge her mama, talking about exercise and talking about, "You need to get on that bike." And I'm like, girl, you just killing all these taquitos, and then it looked good. Now she was dipping it in that, looked like it was some type of guacamole spicy sauce. Make me want some. Anyway, there's a puzzle on the table. It seems like she knows how to put the pieces to the puzzle, like in the middle. Most people don't know how to put a puzzle when you start from the middle. But she's smart. That daughter knows her shit. So as Lois was on the couch, you know, trying to get relaxed, there's a rash on her. I don't know if it's on her arm or her back or whatever. And you know, her daughter gets on her mama. You need to go ahead and get that rash done. Don't let it turn into infection. You know what happened to me when it happened to me. Girl, I know what the fuck I'm doing. Leave me alone. So like I said, it seems like Lois drinks a whole lot, and Merritt, who's her daughter, asks her about work. And Lois was like, what the fuck you asking me about work? You ain't never asked me about work before? Because she said, I wanted to ask you. So Lois was like, leave it be, girl. Don't ask me no more about this. So she tells her to go to bed, and she says, I'm going to see Marshall tomorrow. Marshall is apparently Lois's husband. So Merritt is still eating that damn taquito, honey, and man, like I said, make me want some. Next, we see hospital items. We see this breathing machine. We see this pump going up and down, and then you see these two male nurses turning this man over, you know, wiping his ass, making sure he's good. So apparently either the man is paralyzed or he's in a coma, but we do find out he's in a coma. And then you have this lead nurse who's standing around him with the other student nurses talking about his condition, all these long ass medical terms I never heard of. So Marshall is Courtney B. Vance. That's the husband. He's in a coma. So the nurse talks about how he's been on a ventilator, baby, for 28 days. That's crazy. Almost a month. And so the head nurse, she looks like she's old school with the rolls in her hair. Very, very 1940s look. So, again, Lois is the wife. That's Nishi's character. Lois RYAN. That's her name. That's their name. So she goes to the nurse comes to Lois and talks to her, saying they're going to have to reassess Marshall's condition and that he might have to stay there a little bit longer. Now, this nurse seems like she has like a very strong obsession over Marshall. Like she digs him or something, or she digs the fact of him being in a coma, and she feels like that's her purpose, to find out why he's there and to test out if he can hear or if he can understand what's going on in the background. So this heifer tells Lois, she's like, he hears you when you're not there, because this is what happened when you was in the room. You touched him. He knows that you're there. All this stuff. So Lois is like, bitch, do you have a damn camera in here? And the nurse said, yes. Nurse Red, that's her name, Nurse Red. She said, yes, I do. She says, I can even feel that he knows that we're here. And his energy tells me that. I know I'm giving my own version, but that's what she's saying. She says, even when I wipe his ass. Like, girl, why you tripping and just mouth salivating over the fact that you wipe his ass and you eating those muscadine grapes like it's the last thing you ever need and eating? Girl, she acts very horny when she talks about Marshall. I don't know. She says that people in medically induced comas are aware of what's going on around them. So she wants him to stay there a little longer, pretty much. So she goes, the nurse tells Lois about what happened. And she goes play by play about everything that Lois did while she's in the room. I already said that. And she said that she doesn't really Lois doesn't show him a lot, because that's what marriage is about. You white knuckle it through. You stay there, you play Candy Crush together, then, you know, you do whatever, you do your thing, he does his thing. That's what it's all about. So Lois tells that nurse, tells her to leave, to mind her goddamn business, and I don't take no shit from nobody. And she said, that's my fucking husband, and I won't be judged by you or anyone, period. That's what she said. So the nurse claims that Marshall can feel and knows what's going on, whatever. So next we see the police office. She's at the office. So Lois tells all of the people that are in the desk surrounding her that, you know, all the DNA in the house belongs to the family. You know, everything there belongs to the family. There's no fibers or nothing that belongs to anybody else there. So the lab team will go there to the house, but they're not going to find anything because they combed that damn place down. So the Burnsides was a very, very nice family, very, you know, Catholic, very well known, very liked. But she thinks that somebody might have had a hatred towards them or hated them. The person who did it seems like it wasn't the first time that they did it. So Lois feels that this was done before, and like she's seen this particular scene before. So a nun came there to see Lois, and one of the police officers said, a nun is here to see you. And I like how they did the camera lighting on this particular situation. She was sitting in the waiting area, And you had other people there sitting in the waiting area, but there was only like one strong light on the nun. And I love how it was a subtle light, but it was a light nonetheless. I like that. And a lot of the camera angles was like they were looking in the camera, like they were talking to you. I love those camera angles. Okay, so Sister Megan was her name. Lois meets her, and she's actually young. She told her, well, you pretty young to be a damn nurse, and you got a cell phone too. Not too many nurses. I mean, none. I'm talking about nurse. None to have a cell phone. And she's pretty young. So they sit and meet over coffee. The coffee machine, she said, we can do some coffee here. My husband bought us a coffee machine here for the police station when he was over in France. And that the coffee, in Italy, he was over in Italy. The coffee machine is so fancy. It's like metal, have all these compartments and shit. Made the best coffee. So Lois can't understand why the Catholic Church is so interested in this murder. The sister, it says she's the only one that's interested in it because she has a social justice page and they need traffic for their website. And the only time that their readership goes up is when it's involving crimes and the cult. And so the nun, I keep saying the nurse, the nun believes that the Burnsides were murdered. Like, duh, you think? They damn had barbed wires around their throat. And then the baby was boiling in the fucking pot. Anyway, the priest of the Burnsides said how great of a family they were, and that the priest just happens to be a friend of the nun. So when she said, when Lois said that there were 5 murders, I didn't even know that there was a baby. I didn't even notice it because the baby wasn't in the I don't remember seeing a baby there before. But when Lois goes back and talks about the whole incident regarding what happened, she says the families were tied up and the husband, his cheeks were like sliced, thinly sliced like a piece of beef. And it was seasoned and cooked. And along with his liver and lungs and kidneys, and some type of sauce was poured on him. Like whoever did that ripped that man up. And she says she don't know what the sauce is, but the family, it looks like the family, whoever it was, made the family eat the daddy. Shoved that man down their throat. Like the brains and the liver and the kidneys, and seasoned that shit and cooked that shit and made them eat it. Because when you first met them, all of them had something stuffed in their mouths. So Lois never goes into details again about what she saw in the pot. But again, when we first saw that family, I didn't see a corpse of the baby. The baby wasn't there. So I'm going to assume that whatever was done, she says she believes that all of the families passed away of a heart attack because what they saw, they could not unsee. So all of them, I guess the killer made them watch what he was doing with the baby. And again, like I said, I saw a small brain somewhere. So I'm thinking that he sliced, he cut the baby's brains out. Whew, I'm getting sick to my stomach. Probably cut the baby's child, then put the baby in there. So that's what she believes, that all of the mother and the children died of heart failure because of what they saw. Jesus Christ. Whew, Lord have mercy. They were all watching and died of acute shock just watching what the SOB did. Excuse me, I had to sneeze. They were called by the cops because the neighbor heard some loud chamber music like early in the morning. It was like, I don't know if you heard it all night long or real early in the morning. And it was Mozart's Requiem. And the nun said she just happened to take a guess at it because that was the song. And Nisi was like, bitch, how you know that it was Requiem? So while they were in the office, they were in the police office talking. So Lois was at her desk, and while the nurse was telling her why she thought that it was the song Requiem, Lois pulled out her damn drawer, and her gun was sitting right there. So just in case if she needed to pop off on old nun right here sitting across the desk from me, then I understand. And she talking about it was just a guess. Requiem is Mozart's mourning of death, even his own. So he wrote that particular song, mourning of death in general, but in particular, he was mourning his own death. So I thought that was interesting, but the nun does look suspicious. So Lois asked um, ask about the odd liquid that was all over the house. It was like thick and black, and they don't know what the shit is. So she talked about how the liquid kind of changes, like the smell of it changes. It can smell like keratin oil. If you ever had a keratin treatment for your hair, you know that that's pretty much like like Botox, botulism. I don't know. They said it's very, very strong and it's very, very toxic. So it says that the liquid that was found was very, very strong. It had different smells like burning hair. So, what is this? So Lois, all of this is in the background. So she said, Lois tells the nun that all of this is background, maybe meaning that that's background information that she found in her investigation. Because again, Lois is a detective. And so the nun asks Lois if she has any theories on the case. And Lois is like, no, I don't know shit. So the nun asks Lois if she believes in God. Do you believe in a higher power? And Lois is like, do I believe in the Savior? Do I believe that someone died for my sins? And Lois was like, no. She says, but she does believe in prayer. So I think that has a lot to do with her husband then being in a coma. So next we can hear some people cussing in the background, fussing, fuck you, bitch, fuck you, all this stuff. And then we show this crack apartment and these two dudes sitting on the couch. And one guy was talking about, I want a $5 girl doing something strange for a little piece of change. They was clearly high on some shit because the place looked horrible. Food everywhere, trash everywhere, cans of liquor everywhere. So you hear this banging on the door. First you hear the buzzing of somebody at the front door, and then the knock kept getting harder and louder and stuff. The black dude gets up and like, what's it? Who is it, nigga? You know, he finally goes, and then we see the next scene, cops everywhere. Lois shows up, and it's another murder, y'all. Another murder. So the cop was like, I ain't never seen this much murders in 1 week in my life. And so Lois was like, I don't get paid enough for this. She said, well, you don't know how much I get paid or something like that. Well, anyway, she goes in. It's very dark in this particular apartment. And then they look over, and then you got this shitty looking toilet there. Like the cleaning people, like they just never cleaned that toilet. They had black rings all around and everything. I'm sure it was smelly. So when she gets into the main living room part, there's a lot of people there in hazmat suits. I'm like, well, why does not Lois have on hers, and why the cop don't have on hers? It's like, I don't understand that. But anyway, child, they look on the wall and they see 3 torsos. Not like hanging, but it seemed like they was like nailed to the wall. But all of the blood was taken out of their body because you couldn't find no blood. And that same dark liquid was there on the floor. So I'm like, child. So she looking and stuff. So the cop says that the blood from their body had to be drained out from that whoever killed them. So all of a sudden, Lois turns around. The damn nun is standing right there behind her. Bitch, what you doing here? You just can't show about the blue. So yeah, Lois says, what the fuck are you doing here, nun? So nun tells her. So she goes outside, and so he said, you can't be here. See, the only people who show up here are perps. So Lois had to think about it and told the nun, say, look, go on inside and take all the notes that you want to do, but don't touch shit now. Don't touch nothing. So the nurse goes inside, and the cops ask Lois, what's she doing? Like, look, I know what I'm doing. I just need a fresh pair of eyes on this situation, okay? Because I don't trust y'all and the other motherfuckers. I trust her because she has a passion for this shit. Okay, next, we see Lois go to the hospital where Marshall is, and of course, he's still in a coma. And so she sits down and holds his hand, not because the cameras are in there, but, you know, she really misses him, and he's been in the coma for 28 days. So she takes a sip from her flask. I need one of them flasks, Niecy. She talks about how Merritt, the daughter, remember the taquitos I told you about that she was dipping? She ate 12 of them things. Now, I can barely eat 3 or 2. But she said she got a nerve to be talking about me drinking too much. I'm like, honey, you eating too much with 12 taquitos? Ooh, okay. So Merritt apparently has been eating a whole hell of a lot since her daddy's been in a coma. So they've been going through a lot of changes and stuff since he's been in a coma. And they've been, you know, a little bit off. So Lois, she climbs into bed with Marshall. He's still in the coma. And she talks to him about the old hole in the wall that they used to go to and how he asked her to marry her there. And, you know, she just was reminiscing with him and how happy she was then. And she wants Marshall to come back to her. She feels something that is happening around her. And she don't know what the fuck it is. And she needs him there so he can help her deal with it. Come back now. I can't deal with this shit by myself. So she goes home. And then she hears a noise in her house. Then she pulls out a gun and she goes throughout the house to see what the fuck is going on. Then she sees the shadow goes past one of the rooms. You know how that typical shadow that goes real quick. And so she goes and follows the shadow. And then there's the radio that's in the kitchen. Some old-fashioned radio. I'm like, this was real modern. Why in the fuck you have a 1930s radio sitting there on the kitchen counter? And Requiem was playing. Requiem was playing in the background. So she sees the shadow, jumps out, runs outside. She chases it. She started shooting after the shadow, and she misses it. So Mary comes outside. Mom, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you firing your gun? You know, you lost your mind. So she says, look, take your ass in the house. I know what the fuck I'm doing. Get in the house, Mary. Get in the house. So Mary takes her ass in the house. So next, the nun, there was some words where the corpses were on the body in that last house where the damn men were hanging on the wall, lifeless. Like, all of them were drained out of their blood. Even the black dude was darker than me, but he was pale like everybody else. So the nun picked the Bible verses that were written on the wall, and Lois is listening to her read the scriptures, and those particular scriptures is like an interpretation that the killer feels like he or she has power over death. And the sister says that the killer is fucking with Lois. I said, wait a minute, we have a cussing nun? I'm like, the nun is cussing? And even Lois said the same thing. Like, damn, a cussing nun. Ain't that a bitch? So they have small talk about Lois, how she used to feel tough and she don't want this case, but no one in the damn department is capable enough of handling it. And the nun agrees and she says, yeah, can't nobody do this but you. And then the nun says, damn straight. I'm like, this nun is like on a whole nother level. So the chemical report comes back from the Burnside house for the first time, and it's a sulfur dioxide. That's the black liquid that they found. And so the nurse was like, that's brimstone. Remember, there's fire and brimstone from the Bible. She said that they like to use that in their crime scene. So that liquid stuff is brimstone. And so Lois at the end says, well, goddamn, this looks like a crazy psychopath. You think, Lois? I'm going to have to anoint my house. I am, because, I was reviewing something else, but this has sparked my interest, and I'm going to have to watch it during the day when it's light outside. I can't watch this shit at night. So anyway, thank you for coming to my channel. Ooh, if you like what you saw, please subscribe, like, and share this review, because I like murder mysteries. I like suspenses, and this is definitely that. I just don't like the evil, choir, all of that Mozart shit, but I'm going to have to look past it and continue to review, what is it, grotesquerie. I always thought it was grotesque, but it's grotesquerie. So, join me next time for my next review, honey. Ooh, grotesquerie. It's going to be a ride for that ass. Bye.